Alright, what's up? I'm here to tell you about the SONY Xperia XZ2 compact. I hate saying that out loud. I hate saying pretty much every single Sony phone name out loud, and that goes for a lot of their products actually. Just a lot of unnecessary numbers and letters. I don't know why they don't just keep it simple like Apple does or Beats does, but whatever. Anyway, I complain about that all the time, but I have to say it out loud, so I'm just going to vent a little bit, alright? So this is like the classic example of small but packs a punch, but really, I gotta say the only reason that it's worth talking about is because it's small and it's highly spec'd. I feel like for the money, you might as well buy a Samsung S8, which is older, but it's such a more intelligently designed phone. I feel like that phone is better in every single way, literally. They actually took away the headphone jack on this phone too, so you're getting an older phone, but you're getting so much more, including that, if that's a big deal for you. It's kind of a big deal for me. I don't want to always have to use Bluetooth or a stupid dongle. God, these times are getting really frustrating. Phone innovations feel like they're going so backwards, and there isn't even like one company out there that has the balls to make a nice compact smartphone. And while this one is nicely spec'd, there's really nothing special about it whatsoever. It doesn't stand out among the flagship competition at all, except for the fact that it's small. It has all the bare minimum essentials like IP68 and no headphone jack, which is essential. But yeah, it's got an IPS screen. It's not AMOLED or OLED, which means, well, if it were, that all the individual pixels could be illuminated separately, meaning that blacks can actually just turn off. That technology is pretty common even in some mid-grade Samsung phones. And the Galaxy S8 that I was telling you about, you can find that on Amazon for about $50 less. It's still brand new. And yeah, just even the screen technology is a lot better. And the overall phone design, I think, and pretty much everyone's going to think aesthetically, it looks a lot better. It's just way easier on the eyes. It looks more futuristic and just like, you kind of just want to touch it, you know what I mean? But this guy, I don't know, man. It's just a brick phone and it's small, and that's really the only thing it has going for it. So it's disappointing to see just a lack of innovation and every phone just getting bigger, because I know there has to be a demand out there for smaller, nice phones, but not even one company really wants to do it in an innovative way. And I appreciate that Sony is doing it, but I think there's talk about them discontinuing the compact line of devices because they're not doing so well. And of course they're not, because one, who the hell buys a Sony phone? Almost nobody, you know? And for the money, there's just better phones that you can buy that came out like 2-3 years ago. And for me, the Samsung S8 is the best blend for like best bang for your buck and not a ridiculously sized phone. I think that for me is the go-to phone for me. So personally, I'm always comparing things to the S8, even the newest stuff, but with all the new stuff coming out, which is awesome and I want it, it's just too big, and I don't want that much bulk in my pocket, and I don't want to be moving around my thumbs that much. I just want to, you know, a clean screen I can look at that does everything I need it to. I'm not trying to have like a home theater experience on my freaking phone. It's such a small screen anyway. Even if it's like 6 or 6.5 inches, it's still so small. You know what I mean? So I feel like the benefit of a smartphone is that it's small. Okay, it's convenient. And I feel like a company would really benefit from actually making an awesome small smartphone. I feel like when a phone company does something like this, it makes this innovation, this whole concept of a small smartphone look like, oh, you know, maybe that's not such a good idea, maybe that's not what the people want. But honestly, the execution is just disappointing. That's why I wanted to talk about this phone. I literally just wanted to tell you that there is a powerful flagship compact smartphone, but it's just not interesting in any other way besides that one thing. And that's pretty lame, because it makes me feel like I'm wasting my money and I'm spending more just to get a smaller phone, and that sucks. And also, this phone is actually kind of thick. It's kind of bulky. It's short and it's small in the hand, but it's got a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, but it definitely feels a little bit more bulky than it should for the size, and I just don't understand why, because I have phones that are like 5 years old and they have a replaceable battery, a user replaceable battery, and they're still thinner than this guy. So also, I know this is silly, but it's kind of just a build quality thing. When I tap the screen, like, you know, you touch your screen to type. Can you hear that? It just has like a really hollow sound to it. It just makes you feel like there's a lot of airspace in this phone. That's not really an important thing, but it's just another thing that makes me feel like this phone was built kind of cheaply and just not innovatively or anything like that. So I'm just, I'm kind of making this video to talk about that, but I'm also asking, would you guys like a smaller smartphone? I'm just curious if there is demand out there in the industry, because if there is, and this phone is the answer, It's kind of a lame answer. It just doesn't compete with the other phones in that price range or even below it in any other way except for the fact that it's a little bit smaller. That's all this phone really has going for it. So I just can't imagine that that's enough for somebody to buy this phone. Like, it's got to be more than just a smaller smartphone than everything else. It's got to be, you know, everything else that those other flagship phones are too. So I don't know why nobody's doing it, but I'm curious if you would appreciate something like that, if you're sick of having like a huge phone in your pocket all the time, or your purse if you're a girl, or yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious, but personally I'm sick of like just having something unnecessarily big. Anyway, that's the end of my rant. Sorry I didn't go into the details of this phone so much. I kind of just wanted to talk about it as a concept. You can always find other videos that'll go into detail about it and get all nerdy about the specs, but I'm literally just telling you its specs are pretty much what you'd predict for the price. Anyway, thank you for listening. Sorry it's been a little while. I may or may not be back more often, but we'll see. Life has been kind of funny, and I'll just leave it at that. But thank you so much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Please subscribe if you want to see me again for whenever and whatever my next video is. You have a nice day. Bye.